from each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are, from memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried, and with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight, reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Jeffrey, and we are back today with the 123rd Disney feature-length film from December the 25th. That's right, it's a Christmas miracle of 1975. It is a film called Ride a Wild Pony. Ride a Wild Pony is based on the novel A Sporting Proposition from the year 1973 by James Aldridge. Would you like to start us off with a synopsis about this Christmas film, Ride a Wild Pony?
A young teenage boy in Australia finds himself at odds with a crippled teenage girl over the ownership of a beloved pony.
Mm-hmm. Any opening thoughts?
I didn't really think that he looked like a teenage boy to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
He looked like a much younger boy.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I have no idea why Disney would have chose to release this film on Christmas. Like all the charm that we talked about for Napoleon and Samantha, and if you haven't watched, please go back and watch our synopsis on that because that's a phenomenal film.
Mhm.
That's still on both of our list upon a stars. For a boy and a girl coming of age with an animal, that film was, this film is not.
Mhm.
But any other facts or thoughts that you want to discuss about this last film of the year 1975?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, the source novel was A Sporting Proposition, and this movie was made and released about 2 years after the novel. So
Yep.
the novel hadn't been out that long. The actor Robert Bettles had an accident during filming and he fell off the pony on the second day of shooting and was hesitant to ride it again.
It's like a reoccurring theme.
Yeah, and all I could think was, did he have a stunt double
Hmm.
on some of it then? Because some of it he flies off.
Sure
So did
does.
they catch that
I don't know.
or did they use a stunt double? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Anyway, um this movie was the first full-length Disney film to be shot in Australia. And
And you can tell because there's kangaroos everywhere.
yeah, and it was prominently mentioned on the Australian movie poster. The movie was originally intended to have its Australian story reworked to an American setting, but the producer believed that an Australian background would not affect the movie's box office potential in the United States. So it retained the source novel's Australian characters and setting.
Hmm.
And then there were several Welsh mountain ponies featured in the production of this film,
So,
and the main pony's real name was Frank.
oh, okay.
I thought that was cute.
Well, he
Anyway,
goes by two different names in this film, so.
yeah, I could see that. Um, and this is the first of four films that the then child actor Robert Bettles made with American director Don Chaffee, and all were filmed in Australia. The other films were Harness Fever, which was in 77, Shimmering Light, which is 78, and the Southern Australian Film Corporation, The Fourth Wish, which was in 76.
So we don't have to rewatch any more of his. So
I
that's what you're
guess
saying.
not. And that's really all I've got there.
All right, well, you want to dive right in?
Sure.
All right, so Ride a Wild Pony, the final film of the year 1975. So we start off with the opening credits, and we see all different kinds of horses, ponies running during the opening credits. We also see a kangaroo that's letting us know where we are, and then we see a boy who's watching and creeping. He's creeping for a closer peek. He ends up jumping on the back of one of the horses, jumping on one of the horses and rides and takes off. The owners and like the wranglers are really in shock and anger. So they're trying to, but they clearly know this boy. Like this might happen more frequently because like they're calling the kid by name, so he's not like a
And
youngest
they're
horse.
upset because he's not in school.
Yeah, like it's not like the
He was
youngest
told he wouldn't
criminal
be able to do that.
like the films that we watched recently, but or not recently, but a long time ago. But whatever. The boy ends up jumping off the horse, like you said, and he falls into the river to get away. He swims away. Like you mentioned about going to school, the police end up coming to the families to like the boy's family to summons them for keeping the boy away from school.
Hmm.
Um, the father is like, get off my land. He is not having it. Like they are settler people. They are living off the land.
Hmm.
The father goes to town to present the reasons why his boy does not attend school. Something along the lines of they don't have transportation to get there. They can't afford a horse.
And you have to walk 7 miles
7 miles
there and back.
each way to get there. So that's why he's not going to school. So that kind of sets the premise of these people don't have that much money, and that's why he's not going to school. Um,
Hmm.
so the the father is going to sue the state for not providing the son a proper education, like not giving him a reason to go to school
Hmm.
or a way to get to school. We learn again that they don't have a lot of money. His land is salty and rocky and quite unsuited for farming, they say. Um, but and then we learn that the summons has been they have withdrawn their summons, and the Board of Education will find a way for them to get to school. So basically, they don't want to get sued. So
Hmm.
they give them a wild pony, even though the father's like, I don't want the charity. So they like, fine, pay us. So then he pays £3 for the pony instead of the charity, but he wants a receipt. Anything about that? So he pays £3 for this pony. I have no idea when this movie came out, so I know when it came out, but I don't know when it's based off of, so I don't know how much that would be today, but it'd be a lot of money.
Yeah.
Um, so he now has a way to get to school. They bought the pony for £3 because they didn't want the charity. He has no way to get to school. The boy whose name is
Scott.
Scotty, yeah. Scotty begins to bond with the pony. He is able to mount and ride the pony. Um, they he names the pony Taff, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So he's riding this pony everywhere. He is into this horse. For instance, he's like racing a train, and he ends up like jumping right in front of the train and avoiding disaster by cutting across the train tracks. The people on the train are not pleased about this.
Yes, this is a recurring
Yeah,
thing throughout this movie.
he rides it to school. Where we learn that a lot of people um aren't a fan of him because he's one of like the smellier kids and just doesn't have a lot of money. Like I said earlier, he names the pony Taff because it's Welsh and it's a Welsh name. Um, while at school, the pony causes a mess and escapes, causing quite the commotion. And around this time, we also meet a very well-to-do family with a very well-to-do female character. Her name is Josie, and she's in a wheelchair, like you mentioned in the synopsis. So basically, and it's going to come to light earlier, they have a lot of land, they have a lot of animals, and like that was the land and the animals that Scotty was riding in the beginning of the film that he like rode off with one of their horses because like they have like horses
Yes,
and they're
they
well to
would
do.
catch wild horses and
Yep.
sell them.
So now we know Scotty and now we know Josie, and Josie is the best character in this film. I think that I have a running occurrence of thinking that the young female film characters are the best in these films. But she's in a wheelchair because she has polio, I believe.
That is what I read, but at one point in the film, they said she was affected with infantile something.
Yeah.
And they never really referenced polio, but from what I read online, it was polio.
Yeah. So Staff and Scotty are continuing to cause quite the commotion through the town. They're like riding through like stores and stuff. Um, And he's going to try to race the horse or race the train again to get home, but this time he can't race the train because the train is too fast, so he ends up falling into a pond.
He flies off into the pond.
Yep. But at least not hit by the train.
True.
The next morning, the horse Taff has escaped. It is not in the outside. It is not in the cage, or not the cage, but like the fence.
Do you
It's
think he escaped because he was embarrassed that they didn't make it?
maybe. Um, so basically, he goes. So instead of going to school, Scotty's like going to find this horse 'cause that's his friend. But there is no sign of Taff anywhere. So that's a sad scene, setting the premise of that Taff is gone.
Mhm.
But so is Scotty. Scotty is now missing. But it cuts to our friend Josie, the young girl, who is very upset because she wants to ride a horse. Like she is tired of being in a wheelchair. She wants to ride her horse. Um, but they're like, you can't. So nope, can't have him. Obviously, they're protecting her. Everybody has their theories of what happened to the horse. Everyone has their theories of what happened to Taff. Everyone's, wants to get involved. The town is being the town. They search for the boy. Um, well, yeah, they search for the boy. The boy's searching for the horse. It all continues. The family can't find their son. So then we cut back to the rich family, and they're like, "Where's Josie?" And we find out that she's riding a horse. Like she forced her way onto a pony, but she very scarily falls off the horse, much to everybody's shock. Now, like you can't do this. Like you're gonna get hurt. You know, you're paralyzed from the legs down. Like, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, but then like, you know what? Fine. We'll let you ride a horse as long as like the horse is pulling you in a cart. Like it's um they decide
Safer.
to let her ride in a cart. But she has to find the pony. And she's like, I want an unbroken one. I want to bond with my horse.
Mhm.
She's not sold on only being able to ride behind on a cart, but it's better than nothing.
Mhm.
But she wasn't on book one, like I said. So then we see like the selection process of all the ponies. She chooses a horse that was giving her trouble. She's gonna name this horse Bo, but of course we also learn that this horse is, of course, Taff, the runaway horse. Dun dun dun. The plot thickens. Anything about this?
Yep.
So now this horse is going by Bo. She attempts to win it over, though Bo is not a fan of the new harness. It's like cutting his mouth. Um, we cut back and the school has not seen Scotty. But we do find Scotty. He arrives to like this traveler's camp looking for food. Um, talking about the horses, and the guy's like, I'll show you my horse, and it's a bicycle.
Yeah.
Trying to be comedy. I didn't really laugh, but whatever.
I didn't either.
Meanwhile, Bo is again refusing to cooperate. Scotty is still searching for Taff. They prep Bo to be ready,
Mhm.
and they take the cart for a spin with Josie. Scotty comes home. Scotty finally comes home, all dejected, and you would think that his family would be excited to see him. They just whip him for
Running away.
disappearing, running away, which I think is, actually now's a great time because we glossed over it. Please dive into do a deep dive on Scotty's mother for a second. I talk about how awful Scotty's father is. Go ahead, talk about Scotty's mother. She's like
Scotty's
she's like
mother.
Wendy from The Shining,
Yeah, but
but
she shows no emotion whatsoever. And we also didn't touch on,
Scotty's father beating him. Sorry, go ahead.
you already did that.
Yeah,
There are tons of flies in this movie. So I'm assuming
maybe
from my
well,
take of it, if you go to Australia, there must be like flies everywhere. And to the point where they land on these people and like I feel like commonly here we would swat them away. No, no, no. Like there was one that landed on the mom's forehead and she didn't swat it away or anything. And then later, one lands on the little girl's eyelashes. The little girl don't blink or nothing. It's just like, what?
But yeah, so the mom doesn't show a lot of
And she
emotion.
usually is just like, I don't know. In
She's
some of the
being
films,
seen, not heard.
yeah, but I don't know. There were several times where she was wearing just like black, just solid black, and the weirdest hats, but no emotions whatsoever. Your son shows up and you're not like smiling and happy or anything.
No,
You're just
she gets
like,
beat.
yeah, but she looked that way when good things happen too in the movie. I don't know. She's just super weird.
So whatever, the Scotty comes back all dejected. His father's a piece of work, and he says to him, "The pony's gone for good, and you're going to have to make the best of it."
Mhm.
Scotty goes to school the next day, and of course, what happens? The people here are awful. He gets yelled at for missing school by his teacher.
Mhm.
Even the store owner yells at him, so he cuts open the grain and runs away. Clearly, he's not having a good time. Josie's well-to-do father decides that he's going to enter her and Bo into a cart contest, like a cart showing contest. I guess it's a thing
Mhm.
at the village or town fair. So, but you know who else is at the town fair? Scotty. Scotty sees Taff and he's all excited, but we now know that Scotty is Bo. I mean, Taff is Bo. So Scotty's excited and he goes to like run and try to take his horse back, which causes all this commotion because he's clearly pulling a little girl. That's his new owner.
Mhm.
The horse begins to act up, which is scaring the children, and it causes Scotty to get taken away. Scotty has this friend throughout this film whose father's like a judge or like a lawyer or something.
He's a lawyer.
Yeah. Um, and he's like, look, like we have to do this the right way. Possession is 9/10 of the law. So like she has the horse right now. So um, but then Bo suspiciously goes missing.
Mhm.
Um, so they go to the Peary's house, which is Scotty's house, and the pony's not there. The cops get involved. Um, but then we see Scotty who's riding Taff through town. Um, and the town is starting to debate. Is it Taff or is it Bo? Is it Taff or is it Bo? The debate begins. Um, the children are getting very emotional over their horses. Um, people are suing each other over the ownership of this horse. But we also see that during all this like, commotion of whose horse is who, Bo knocks Josie out of her wheelchair. But then she's able to like, brush its mane or whatever, to show some love. And this town is divided, but clearly the residents prefer the rich people.
Mhm.
Makes sense, right? So they're like, it's clearly her horse. So there's a court case. The court case begins. This judge comes out wearing this 1776 looking wig. I want to talk about this
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
Boston Tea Party wig that this dude has on.
Yeah, I guess they must have continued to follow British law because they did discuss the United Kingdom
Mhm.
and Britain. So I guess they must have just brought in their wigs.
So,
It was and it was
yeah,
not even put on very well, but
no,
whatever. Okay.
had a receding hairline like me. So then they forced the children to testify. One of them is arguing that the horse bit Scotty, and then Scotty is arguing that the horse knocked her out of her wheelchair. So it's just like they're arguing over all this.
Mhm.
Um, so they're like, fine, you know what? We're gonna be unorthodox and we're gonna let the pony decide.
Mm.
Children support it. They're gonna let the pony decide. So everybody in the town begins to bet with each other of who's who. So then they make everybody in the town be super quiet, and then the two kids are on each side of something, and they're like pleading their case to this horse.
You have to sit though.
Yeah, they have this. Well, clearly,
You didn't say that.
well, she can't stand.
I know, but it's important that they know that the
Yeah,
boy also had to sit.
yeah. Um, so the pony has to decide, and that they're like pleading for the horse. Taff slash Bo is very torn, but ultimately he knocks Scotty off of his chair, but Scotty wins the ownership.
Yeah.
Poor Josie loses her horse. Anything about that scene?
I mean, she's obviously very sad, but at the same time, I think that helped her to realize maybe this horse actually was his as well.
Yep. But then the
Because everything he had described about their relationship in court
Mhm.
happened right there in
Yeah,
front of her.
he did. Exactly. But then the horse also goes over to console her, but then returns to Scotty. So I guess the
Um,
poor kid won.
but at that time, I think that that helped solidify to him that
It was her horse too.
he was also Bo Taff.
Half bow. So after showing a sad Josie, we see Scotty riding Taft through the woods. Um, but then when they arrive home, a truck is arriving, and Scotty sees that it's Josie and her father, so he's all afraid that they're going to come take the horse away. But instead, she gets carried over, and she apologizes for taking his pony away by mistake.
Mhm.
Taft goes up and snuggles with her, and they all share a moment. And then they decide to share the horse. Basically, it's gonna cut like the scene cuts to the two kids riding Josie on a cart
Mhm.
and or riding on Josie's cart with the horse. Scotty's letting Josie drive. And that's the end of the film, and we've made it through 1975.
Do you think in the sequel they'll get married? I'm
I
just
mean,
kidding.
is there, well,
I think there's a sequel. I hope not.
50 years or whatever later. Actually, almost exactly 50 years later.
God.
Um, but so. They'd be way old now if they got married 50 years later.
Talking about like a sequel that was like, I don't know,
Maybe.
five,
Um,
10 years later.
so yeah, so they that's our film. Any thoughts on this not as coming of age as Napoleon and Samantha film?
So IMDb rated it a 6 out of 10.
It's a cop out.
I was gonna give it a 5 out of 10, but I changed my mind and gave it a 6 out of 10 only because I felt like the ending saved it. Had it not had the ending, I probably would have rated it a 5 or possibly lower. And when I tell you that I rated it a 6 because of the ending, literally the only part you need to watch is the ending because the rest of the movie is not worth watching in my opinion. But
Josie's the best character.
I guess I actually liked Scotty,
Scotty, you would.
but
So then does it make your list upon a star?
no, it does not make my list upon
So
story.
then we started watching films in the 1930s.
Mhm.
1938, I believe, right?
Mhm.
And now we've made it. We've watched all the films. 1937. I'm just kidding. 1937 was our first film. And we've watched films all the way up to now the beginning of 1976. And this doesn't make your list upon a star. So then what is your list upon a star from 37 to 75?
So my list upon a star is 101 Dalmatians, The Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, The Apple Dumpling Gang, The Strongest Man in the World, which after watching this, I probably should have rated it way higher. Napoleon and Samantha, Snowball Express, The Jungle Book, and The Aristocats.
So this also doesn't make mine. I wouldn't have even given it a six, but whatever. Good for you. Um, but whatever. It it was fine. It's just another run of movies that every single Disney film has an animal in it. But my list upon a star, my number one is still 101 Dalmatians, speaking of animals, followed by the wonderful Mary Poppins, followed by the charismatic Mr. Peter Pan. Speaking of charismatic, Robin Hood at number four, Alice in Wonderland at five, Bedknobs and Broomsticks at six, Babes in Toyland at seven, followed by the Apple Dumpling Gang, like yours. Number nine, Napoleon and Samantha, a way better version of this. So if you're gonna watch a coming of age young boy and girl film with an animal in it, watch Napoleon and Samantha. And then lastly, number 10 on the chopping block is the Aristocats. The Aristocats is on both of our bottoms. But we've made it through 75, man. We have been cruising through the years. We literally started in 37 and we watched every film up to the film at the end of 1975. So our next film is 124. We've made it to 124, which again is the first film of 76. And it is the return of Don Knotts for, and actually a lot of familiar faces in the next one. And it's a film that I look forward to watching and talking about called No Deposit, No Return. But before then, thank you for hanging out with us. We are on Instagram and Spotify and YouTube, Deep Diving the Magic. And if you wanted to send us a message about how you liked this film or you caught the flies yourself or any of that fun stuff, deepdivingthemagicpod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Thank you for telling your friends. Thank you for sticking with us throughout all of these years and all of these films. But we will see you next time for 124 from the year 1976. No Deposit, No Return. We'll look for the return of that next time.
Thanks for deep diving magic.
Bye.
Bye.